Chapter 16. Worlds Apart. What? I stared at her, certain she was talking to me, and cold sweat broke out on my back. But I'd faced life and death itself. How could I be defeated over something so trivial? Keeping my face calm, I replied, "Nothing, just a piece of tissue to wipe sweat." The female invigilator was clearly in an irritable menopausal mood. Ignoring my excuse entirely, she snapped, "Hand it over at once, or I'll have you removed from the exam room." I really was doomed this time, wasn't I? I dared not resist, so I reluctantly handed over the paper in my grasp. She unfolded the yellow slip and saw nothing but neatly written rows of the character "Co" in brush ink, no answers in sight. She fell silent for a moment. I thought she would hand it back, but she shot me a condescending glance and said, "Trying to pass secret notes? Confiscated. A second offense will be marked as cheating, and you'll be expelled immediately." With that, she turned and strutted back to the podium, leaving me no chance to explain myself. The moment she took the talisman, I nearly wet myself. It was over. I'd messed up right at the finish line. I stared blankly at the first math question on the paper. Given sets M and N are both real number sets R. Mapping F, Mn projects element X in set M to LG 1 plus X superscript 2 in set N. Under mapping F, find the set composed of the original elements corresponding to the image 1. How the hell was I supposed to know that? What even was this code? I'd been sleeping through math class since the second year of junior high. Now, as a high school senior, these formulas looked like alien script to me. Joy truly does pave the way for sorrow. I felt tears welling up again, my mind going completely blank. I sat there in a daze until the exam was nearly over. Finally picking up my pen, I filled in C for every multiple choice answer. Years of scraping by at the bottom of the class had taught me a thing or two. Examiners loved hiding correct answers under option C. Glancing warily at the two middle-aged invigilators, I changed the last two answers to be a small tribute to them. It was an old trick of mine. With luck, I could score 23 or 24 out of 30 multiple choice points, and that would be my entire math grade. Next came English. My mood had plummeted to rock bottom. The listening section sounded like mindless chanting to my ears. Still, English was heavy on multiple choice questions, my only shot at scraping together points. As I scribbled down C after C, I recalled old Zhang's taunt that morning, "Are you just giving up entirely?" I wanted to cry. He'd hit the nail right on the head. Chinese was the last exam, far easier for any native speaker. Even the laziest student could score over 40 points, and my writing style was undeniably fluid and expressive. I finished the paper through blurred tears and handed it in. The Gaokao was over. I had no idea how I stumbled out of the exam building. The sun burned harshly overhead, the sky an unervingly vivid blue, and I was overcome with a strange sense of disconnection from reality. At lunch, my classmates chattered excitedly, celebrating the end of 3 grueling years and gushing about how easy the exams had been. I kept my head hung low, their every word cutting into me like a blade. Du Feiyu could tell something was wrong. She'd finished her own exams with ease, yet her mood turned gloomy too. I wondered if she was worried about me, or if she'd also failed. Our train back to Longjiang was scheduled for 5 in the evening. After packing our things at the hotel, I sank into a daze. Was my future really ruined? No, it couldn't be. With my art exam scores factored in, I might still get into a college in Harbin. I clung to that fragile hope all afternoon, listening to my classmates, laughing and messing around in nearby rooms, freed from the pressure of exams at last. The train departed at 5:20. Sitting in my seat, I felt the stark contrast between my excitement on the way there and my despair on the ride home. The train rumbled slowly forward as my classmates pulled out cards to play. Annoyed by the noise, Du Feiyu moved to an empty seat to rest her eyes. Fed up with the racket as well, I wandered to a quiet window seat alone. I watched the scenery drift past as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the green trees and lawns in soft pink twilight. The moment was peaceful, yet I was consumed by helplessness. I'd stared down death and understood the afterlife, but in the real world, I was still just a powerless kid. I could not change my fate. My plans had been foolproof, yet cruel luck had torn them apart. Was this destiny? What would become of me now? Lost in thought, a soft, gentle voice suddenly spoke beside me. "Why are you sitting here, all alone?" The voice was hauntingly familiar. I recognized it at once. It was the voice I'd heard on my journey back from the underworld. Guan Yu, how was she here talking to me? A jolt of panic shot through me. Was I still trapped on the road of returning souls? Too frightened to turn around, I nodded stiffly and mumbled, "I'm not feeling well." A graceful figure sat down beside me. It really was Guan Yu. I let out a shaky breath, realizing my overactive imagination had gotten the better of me. It had been a year and a half since I'd come back to life, after all. Guan Yu was as beautiful as ever, especially her large, upturned eyes that held a subtle, bewitching charm. Noticing my downcast look, she asked softly, "Did the exams go badly?" I nodded. It seemed her boyfriend wasn't in this carriage. Why had she come over to talk to me out of the blue? She smiled at my blank expression and patted my shoulder. "We've been classmates for 3 years. I've always thought you were fun and optimistic. What's changed you so much now?" I fell silent, lost for words. "As long as you're still breathing, there's always hope," she said gently. That was supposed to be my line, yet her words eased my heavy heart. I forced a bitter smile. "Aren't you worried your boyfriend will get jealous talking to me?" Adjusting her collar, she replied casually, "He's off chasing other girls in some other carriage. Do you have a problem with that?" The stuffy carriage made her undo a button on her shirt, revealing her delicate collarbone from where I sat. The sight brought back the sultry illusions I'd seen on my soul's return journey. I swallowed hard and joked, "I'm scared he'll beat me up." She shot me a playful, flirtatious glance, a wordless look that sent my heart racing. Our conversation flowed easily, closing the distance between us. For a moment, I forgot my exam misfortune, yet I never forgot Du Feiyu sleeping in the seats ahead. I knew my boundaries and held no inappropriate thoughts toward Guan Yu. We chatted about trivial things until I drifted off to sleep. When I woke, we were only half an hour away from home. I stretched lazily, only to feel something odd pressing against my left shoulder.